Hi, this is Sai Krishna Lola, and I, along with my teammate Madhu Garadala, worked on predicting crimes in Chicago City. So, let's go ahead with the presentation. First of all, we would start with the project outline. In it, we would discuss the research that went behind the project that actually initiated us to take this up, the data sources and the data tools that we used for the analysis. We would also go ahead and discuss how we went about the data cleansing and data transformation job, because the dataset that we had at hand was not readily analyzable. We couldn't feed it into the model builders, so we would do that. And we would also discuss the analysis of data, both visual as well as the models that were built. And we would also go ahead and discuss the the predicted results that the model suggested. We would make recommendations based on these results, and also we feel that our effort is just a small part of what is a promising field. Hence, we would also discuss the future of this particular task. But before we go ahead with our presentation, we would like to present a small video.
I used to think my job was all about arrests, chasing bad guys. Now I see my work differently. We analyze crime data, spot patterns, and figure out where to send patrols. It's helped some U.S. cities cut serious crime by up to 30%. By stopping it before it happens. Let's build a smarter plan.
Yes, that's right. IBM is already into crime prediction, and in fact, it helps NYPD in doing the same. So, the reasons for the analysis that we have taken up. First of all, why we have taken up? Well, we realize that most of the major cities in the country at present have a problem in the exponentially growing crime rates, and the police departments or the authorities would require some sort of scientific aid to help them predict and manipulate and handle the pressure. So, what's the business problem? It is about providing a sort of a scientific approach, as we mentioned already, and to target certain locations and times and predict when the particular crime is most likely to happen, and take mitigation measures. Our target audience would be the police department of Chicago, and also general citizens of Chicago. The background for the project: why did we take Chicago only? That's because it's one of the cities with the highest crime rates as of now, and our project would be of some practical use for a city like Chicago. Yes. Well, the data sources and the tools used. The data source is it's the Chicago Police Department. We can find the whole data set there, and we had used a couple of tools: MS Excel for the data set preparation, Tableau for the visual analysis, and IBM SPSS modeler for building models to predict. Data cleansing, it was a Herculean task, because the original dataset size was about 1.5 GB. Obviously, that was not something which we could handle given our limited resources. So yeah, and it had about 5.09 million records over covering the crime rates for about 11 years time. We actually shrunk the data set. We evenly, even though we took a random sample, we evenly distributed the crime records over the 11 years, and took about 6,816 records. There was a problem in the dataset, in that there were no numeric fields, so we had to insert them for it to become analyzable. Otherwise, the IBM modeler would not be able to assess or predict anything out of the data. We also had to classify data into categories and assign flags to them. For example, there were about 26 types of unique crimes that could take place. We boiled it down to 5 categories. We had 5 buckets and divided all the crimes into them, and assigned each of the crime into one particular bucket. Similarly, we also had to develop flag variables for whether or not a crime ended in an arrest or not, whether or not it is a domestic crime. And about the data transformation, as I mentioned already, we used a flag variable for the type of crime and categorized it. We removed a lot of unwanted fields like GPS position, latitudes, and longitudes, which at this point in time we wouldn't be using. And we also gave we gave certain weights to each of the attributes. For example, a particular crime would be the crime would be given a particular amount of weightage. The location, the kind of result, which is whether or not a person is arrested, would be given a particular weightage. And finally, there is a cumulative weight given for each crime. And in fact, this would be one of the target variables for our models. This is the visual comparison between the various crimes that took place in Chicago over the period, and it clearly shows that theft is the most common crime that takes place, and it is closely followed by narcotics and criminal damage. Again, this is another very startling and surprising information that we have seen. It's an observation that we have made here. We generally feel that crime is more associated with nights and nightlife, but here we see that most of the crimes have taken in the morning or early hours of the day. So that's one really surprising observation. And as far as IBM modeler is concerned, we had used three models: neural, linear, and child net models. And out of all the three, we had selected the neural network because we felt that was the most apt. We used arrest and total weight as the target variables, and using these two, we got an accuracy rate of about 41.7%, which we feel is modestly fine, because given the dynamics of the data, 41.7% accuracy is pretty justifiable. This is about the predictive importance. We see that crime category is the most influencing factor. It's clearly leading the others, and it's followed by the district, ward, whether or not a crime is domestic, and the time flag. The crime, a particular crime's happening or not, is dependent on these factors in the given order. And the recommendations that we make from our observations, that theft is the most common crime that has been happening in Chicago over the last decade or so. The time of the crime, well, this is strange again, but most of the crimes happen in the earlier part of the day. So we would recommend, based on the above two observations, that more elite and experienced officers be placed in crowded areas, or areas prone for theft in the early hours, so that the risk of crime can be mitigated. And also, we would recommend the civilians to be more cautious during the same time and situation, so that there is less scope for theft, and the pressure on the police department is reduced. Future efforts, we feel that what we have done is a very small part of the scope. So we believe that we can narrow the model's prediction scope down to a block level, and that is just about the tools that we use. Also, we feel that some amount of domain expertise in this field would help a better prediction. And these are the sites of reference: the city of Chicago, as we mentioned earlier, and also the IBM press, the video that we had seen earlier. Just in case you have any questions, please feel free to mail to either of us. Thank you for your time.